A year from now, would you go have dinner outside in a restaurant or inside in a restaurant in Seattle? Would you still be wearing a mask? Would you shake hands with people a year from now?
I'll follow whatever the conventions are. If you're not around someone who is unvaccinated and at high risk, either because they're old or medical conditions of getting the disease, we will be able to back off on some of these practices. If you're out where it's strangers and one of them may be an older person who's not vaccinated, you should wear a mask and you should distance, because there's still going to be a risk that even when you're vaccinated, that you can transmit to that other person.
Do you think you would go back to shaking hands? I mean, ever? Is that just one of those things that in the future we're always going to be carrying masks around? We're not going to have the sort of, that this will always be out there.
Well, it's interesting, flu is at a record low because of the things we've done to reduce coronavirus spread. And flu on an average year, was still killing 60,000 people despite having a vaccine and some prior immunity. And so whether people now say, gosh, it wasn't that valuable to shake hands, so let's give that up, I'll follow the social convention. I won't, be an outlier one way or the other on that.
If everyone's shaking hands, you'll shake hands. Okay, I got it.
Just to show my, I always think about technological innovation before other things. I'm hoping we can come up in the next decade with a vaccine that is universal to all coronaviruses, not just this one. And likewise, a vaccine that's universal to all flus, because there are negative effects even from the coronavirus colds that people get. And the flu, we know that particularly in pregnant women, and I mentioned the 60,000 deaths. And so I hope the medical community gets super ambitious on diagnostics, drugs, and vaccines to particularly get rid of a lot of respiratory disease because it's got a yearly burden as well as the pandemic risk.